Well, we were short a few days in April and I got confused. The first one, y'all in for a good time tonight, let me tell you. Okay, the first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance with Vice Mayor of Berlin, Curtis Leeds.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item of business is the adoption of the May the 4th proposed agenda. We do have one change. There is a request to remove items D and E following the board action on the special use permit application. Is everybody okay with that? If so, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, second? Second. All in favor? Okay, we'll make that change on the agenda. The next item is the approval of the April the 6th board minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read those? And can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? All right. Did, Madam Manager, did anybody sign up for a public session?
Yes, sir.
They did, okay. Get to that in just a few minutes. We've got a few minutes before we start the public hearing. No, nobody signed up for the public session, so.
Public hearing.
Yeah, public hearing they did, yeah. So, John, will we get in trouble starting 2 minutes early on the public hearing?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Move on to something else.
Okay, could we take that board action on the special use permit application?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, while we're waiting, we have a special award. Could I present that? Okay, Wayne Price. We've got something for you. I'd kind of like to get the board members in this picture. I always get in the picture, and I'd like to
Can
get.
we all just stand up there?
Yes, I would like that.
Get that, yeah, we should.
However y'all want to do it, but Wayne has worked with all of us up here, and I'm not going to sit here and take all the credit for getting this picture and all. So come on up here. Let me get the board up here. Y'all just bear with us a minute.
I guess those photos there. We'll just space ourselves in between. Why not? What are you doing?
You're not the only one. Am I going to go?
We'll just kind of,
Well, somebody's got to be up a little higher.
let's just make a space for Burley.
Yeah.
So Burley can just
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the state of North Carolina's Cardinal Award, which is presented by Governor Pat McCrory, and it is presented to Wayne Price, and it's in recognition of dedication and outstanding service as an exemplary employee of the great state of North Carolina, and that means the town of Franklin. And it has the slogan, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. I'm so proud to present this to you, Wayne.
Very nice.
Thank y'all. Y'all get, well, come back.
Turn it around so you can see it. Can you see Berlin? No. Bob, could you scoot over a little bit? There we go.
Which
Now
way?
we can see it. Perfect.
Okay.
The other check. This means fine.
Y'all got it? Got it? Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
We miss you, though.
We miss you.
Just text.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 5 minutes after 7 now. So I will open the public hearing for the special use permit application. Justin Setzer and John Henning's going to help with this. And so the first thing that I have to do
It's okay.
on this, I've got to swear everybody in that'll be speaking. Okay, everybody that's going to be speaking that has a stake in this project, if you'll just come up, I'll swear everybody in at the same time. So I guess I just have two, is that right? Is there anyone else?
Anybody sign up?
I have not gotten anybody else, so I'll just, okay, if you will, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Mr. Sutzer, are you going to present the cases before us tonight? And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, this is a quasi-judicial hearing, and it will be conducted very much like you would in a court of law. And so we won't be accepting anybody that just has an opinion or anything. Everybody will be having to deal strictly with facts, and we only have two people. Mr. Setzer.
All right. Bill, there's a section on the board conflicts.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, you're exactly right. Let me ask, does any board member have any conflict of interest whatsoever in this project that's going in tonight, or that we're going to approve? And if you do have any kind of conflict in this, state it now if you do, or just let me know. No one seems to have any conflict whatsoever. So you're ready to proceed?
Okay, before you tonight, you'll see a special use permit. This is for workforce homestead, which is by Mr. Jimmy May, which here is in tonight. This is for a 60-unit affordable housing apartment development on Silo Road on 5 acres. It actually will be 4 structures, 3 main structures, which will be apartments and a clubhouse. Mr. Meehan has submitted all of his preliminary plans, which I found sufficient and everything per our UDO. Also in your packet, you should find a aerial photo, which is kind of showing the general area on the property. There was a neighborhood compatibility meeting held on March 20th, 2015 at 5 p.m. here at Town Hall. Notice was sent to all neighboring property owners within 400 feet, and you should find that statement as well with the everybody that attended. The only ones attended was myself and Mr. Yemeni. This was sent to the planning board back on, let's see, I got it myself. This was sent back to the planning board on March the 16th for their recommendation. The staff report, or the planning board met. You'll find their findings of facts in your report under special use permit findings of fact with their set questions. They since approved this, sent the recommendation on for approval with the added conditions that Mr. Yemeni install a sidewalk along Silo Road to link to the property and a right-hand turning lane into the property, which would be heading west on Silo Road to ease traffic. You should also see their, that is also in the findings of fact as well. Right. Coming from the 440. Let's see. Also in your package, you will find the development packet as well, showing the same thing we have here. I'm going to let Mr. Mean go through the development packet of his design for the property. And lastly, you will see a email statement from Wesley Grindstaff, engineer for NCDOT, which there was some discussion on a traffic impact study, which I actually waived for the time frame and the length to do it. It would actually put the development he has a crunch time, and it would put it over time, would not be able to, it wouldn't follow, it wouldn't be able to go forward with it. So, but being that you'll see in the statement that Mr. Grindstaff, we waived it mostly because the amount of flow for the road that this will add, which was going to be on between 500 and 650 trips a day, would not, under their standard, would not require a traffic impact study. So that's why we waived it. They would require, have to be over 3,000 a day, where they would require one. So that's one of the reasons why it was waived. And then the last thing in your packet is the findings of facts, which is the same findings of facts that the planning board went through. And you'll see it's blank with questions A through E. These questions are in our UDO, which after we were done, before you take a motion, you need to go through all those questions and answer them thoroughly. Any more questions from me?
Does that encompass your testimony from the staff, or do you have?
Yes, from the staff.
Okay, all right. Any questions of Ms. Spencer? Thank you, sir. All right, the next will be the testimony from Mr. Jim Yin, who is the applicant. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, and good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the town board. My name is Jim Yamin. I'm the president of Workforce Homestead, Inc., developer of the proposed Indigo Apartments on Solar Road. I'm here to please request your approval of my special use permit application. I would like to walk through some of these display items just to hit the highlights. I've got a contract for 5 acres, which have been surveyed, that are going to be carved, that are proposed to be carved out of a roughly, I think, 55-acre tract currently owned by Mr. James Vanderwood. This tract is on the south side of Solar Road. Sorry. There's an existing driveway serving a private residence, Mr. Dills, and obviously going to be maintaining that driveway. We've got the landscaping plan that, at least on a preliminary basis, outlines some of our landscaping plans. We'll be developing a single entrance onto Solar Road on sort of the easternmost frontage onto the road, 3 residential buildings and a single clubhouse. And this represents some of the just minimum level of plantings that we'll be providing. There'll be a detention pond right in this area here. We're building a guardrail along this side of the entrance driveway. The land slopes down off of the eastern boundary here. And this grading and drainage plan shows some of the topography. We'll be cutting the site down from Solar Road and building up the site on the south side so that the site will be roughly level. We'll have a little bit of a slope And you'll see the grading, the detention pond a little bit better here. This shows the proposed connections to water. There's a fire hydrant here and sewer. There's an existing sewer line here. And this is a rough schematic rendering of a typical elevation of one of the buildings. The 3 buildings will each be 3 stories in elevation, roughly about, I think, 41 feet total elevation. The exterior materials will be a combination of brick and hardy plank shingles and hardy plank siding. The appearance will be very similar to the existing development, a little over a mile away, Westgate Terrace, actually using the same architect, as it turns out. We've updated some design features, so hopefully we'll be a little bit more current and up to date in some of the details design-wise. There'll also be on site I mentioned the freestanding clubhouse. The clubhouse will contain a site management office, as well as a fitness center, a computer center, multi-purpose room with a kitchen, coin-operated laundry. Of course, all the units themselves will have washer and dryer hookups. There will also be a playground, a separate tot lot, and a covered picnic area with benches and a grill. Sidewalks throughout, connecting all the areas in the development. All areas of the development will be handicapped accessible. The entire development will be designed and built to comply with Energy Star 2.0 standards, so it'll be a very energy efficient development. And to the point of tonight's process with the town board, I want to just summarize that the application does meet all of the town's requirements as per the Unified Development Ordinance. And it does also comply with many of the principles as stated in the town of Franklin's Principles of Growth. I think it's in a great location. There's been a market study done, and it documents a continuing need for more good quality affordable housing. Again, I would please request that the town favorably consider the application for a special use permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levine. There were no,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Can I ask Mr.
Certainly.
President, just before we close the public hearing, I just think it's important that the public hearing include some clarification on the turn lane issue, because it sounds like we've got a little bit of confusion. Is your eastbound on Silo Road, would it be a right-hand turn?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Is that your understanding too?
My understanding was right hand going like toward Walmart, that way.
I think you're saying the same.
Yeah.
Eastbound on Silo, right-hand turn.
Walmart's eastbound.
okay.
And we're talking about also the boundary for the sidewalk is on the northern boundary of the property, is that?
That's right, yeah.
Is that your understanding? Justin, is that your understanding? The sidewalk is going to be on the northern boundary of the property?
Yes.
Is that on the side of that?
Yeah, it's maybe not the best. Yeah, right along.
And it is on
The
side of
entire
the
frontage of the parcel, which would be on the south side of Silo Road.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, counsel. There was no one signed up in any opposition whatsoever And if there was, I would have had to swear them in.
No, I'm not.
None whatsoever, okay. The board, does the board have any questions or discussions of Mr. Yamin? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second? All in favor? Okay. All right, there's no, council, it looks as though there is no further information or evidence is needed at this point. So is there any reason to set a date to continue this hearing?
I sincerely doubt it. If the board's ready to deliberate on the 5 findings of fact that you have to make in order to make a determination.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
Mr. Mayor, I would
give me a hand here.
I'd be happy to walk you through
Let's
the
do that.
fact. You are entitled, so long as the planning board made findings of fact, made suggested findings of fact to adopt them, they did do so. As your land use administrator said, it's also important that there are findings of fact. You can't just rubber stamp and say, we say yes, because it sounds great to us. You really do need to have substantive findings. Having said that, if we go through these one at a time, I think that with some amendment, I would suggest to you that I think there are at least legally adequate findings of fact that were suggested by the planning board. So A is that the use or development is located, designed, and proposed to be operated so as to maintain or promote public health, safety, and general welfare. The planning board's finding was yes if the developer installs a sidewalk along the development and right turning lane into the development. The reason I asked the questions of Mr. Yamin that I did was that I think my suggestion for this one, of course, it's entirely in the board's discretion, but that's an adequate finding if you further specify a right-hand turn lane from an eastern bound direction on Silo Road. And also that the sidewalk is to be on the northern boundary of the property or the south margin of Silo Road.
Now, will each one of these need a motion to accept, or do we accept
I
them
think
as
that you can
approved?
work on consensus. You could just ask if anybody's got any comments that, or
Comments or discussion? Okay, let's move to the next one.
Next one is there are or will be at the time there are required adequate public facilities to serve the use or development as specified in UDO section 152.060. The planning board got an opinion from the public works director that there were adequate facilities, and that I think that's an adequate finding unless you have any other questions or debate about it.
Comments, question, discussion from the board?
We need water and sewer.
Yes.
Any further? Okay, John, let's move to the next one.
C is the use or development complies with all required regulations and standards of this chapter, with variances thereto, if any, granted pursuant to Division S below, any other applicable regulations. The planning board noted yes on the items waived by land use administrator or the tree survey and traffic impact survey. My only suggested amendment to that finding would be to make, if the board chooses to, make reference to the communication from Department of Transportation that
I think that needs to happen. I think we need to take that
Okay.
advice.
if that's evidence that you think is relevant.
I think that's a good idea, Jeff.
Suggest.
So the consensus of the board, if I'm hearing correctly? Okay.
The next one is the use or development is located, designed, or proposed to be operated so as to be compatible with the particular neighborhood in which it is located. This particular finding, the planning board said, yes, the development will be adding to the neighborhood as the area is mostly wooded. Again, I think that's legally adequate, but I would, any suggested additions from the board would be welcome.
The board? Okay. Consensus? Okay. Councilman, that
E is the use of development conforms to the general plans for the physical development of the town as embodied in this ordinance, the principles of growth, and thorough fair plan, and any other duly adopted plans of the town. The planning board's suggested finding was yes, as stated in the town of Franklin's principles of growth number 3, for more, and this actually says adorable housing. I don't know if you want to require it to be adorable. I don't know that you legally can require it to be adorable.
How do you know that's wrong?
It's pretty subjective. I don't know how you're gonna know whether it's adorable. So I would suggest that with the one that did edit, that word be changed to affordable.
Is there any opposition to changing it to affordable? If so, I found another job.
Can I ask, what is the definition of affordable?
I don't know that our principles of growth define it necessarily. I think that my understanding of this project, and since the hearing is closed, I don't know how much you can take into account what I'm about to tell you, but my understanding of this project is that it fits inside a government supplied definition of what is affordable. And that is part of the reason for the project.
He's going to tell us. You can't ask questions. Yes.
I'm sorry?
He went to. Can Mr. Yameen tell me? I'm just curious about it. I don't want to.
The hearing has been closed.
Yeah, during when we had the discussion of the motion, Council, I think that would be acceptable. Okay. All right, are there any other points that we need to make, Council?
No, sir. If that's a consensus for what the wording of the finding would be, it would be appropriate to have a motion to approve it.
Approve the, okay.
Approve the findings of fact. And essentially that also will be to approve the special use application.
Okay, can we do them both together? Okay.
Yes.
I'll entertain such a motion.
I'll move that we approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so then we can move on now, and we will be, how are we going to do that, Counselor? Just if to answer Ms. McRae's question.
I think the board is back into just a regular open session
Okay.
discussion of
We have
whether it's been
a
approved.
section part of this, so.
Yeah, that's right.
And so if Mr. Yameen would.
Okay. Yes, if you will now.
I'll be, the schedule that Justin Setzer referred to is the schedule for the application for 2015 federal housing tax credits administered by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. It's actually in 11 days, and I need to get final approval of the special use permit as part of my tax credit application. But that federal housing tax credit program requires that all residents, households living in tax credit housing earn no more than 60% of the county median income. So it's known as a income restricted program. The rents, of course, are restricted as well, so that they are no higher than 35% of households' gross adjusted annual income. So in round numbers, what that would mean as a practical matter is, for example, the households that would be eligible to live at Indigo would be, their incomes, in order to be eligible, would be capped at about $30,000. That would be a gross annual household income.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, the next item is, unless I've gotten lost somewhere, Madam Manager, is to set the public hearing for Dan Street and Watala Street. Okay, all I need for that is a motion to set a public hearing for Monday, June the 1st at 7:05 p.m. So moved, is there a second? All in favor? All right, Mr. Setzer, you're up again with an update on the bicycle and pedestrian planning grant. I know you've got to head out here in a minute.
Yes, I think I'll go to Chapel Hill tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, that's, most of you know, did a press release, had a couple of articles wrote about it. Town of Franklin, we applied for a bike and ped pedestrian planning grant back up in the winter, and we were sent the letter officially back on April the 10th, notifying that we had been awarded the grant from NCODOT, one of 10 municipalities in the state to be awarded this grant. Now, this, at the time, remember when I approached the board back 6 months ago, approved a 10% match if we were awarded the grant. Since we were awarded, once we start the process, we'll actually, in the next, probably around the 1st of July, we will actually release an RFP for, for proposals for consultants. And then after that, then we will then find a consultant, hire them, and then start working on a bike and ped comprehensive plan for the city limits of Franklin. Where we'll look at modifying sidewalks, build new sidewalks, repairing sidewalks, look at bike lanes, build bike lanes in town, which there is none. And we'll have a steering committee that will, just local residents and business owners that will be put together as well to look over the whole plan before finally, hopefully within about a year's time, hopefully come back in with a plan to be adopted.
All right, any questions of Mr. Setzer? Was that all you have, Mr. Setzer?
Yeah, I was just giving you an update,
Okay.
and got just technically official announcement.
Okay, you want to hit the road then?
Yeah, I don't want to get there at 3 in the morning.
You will drive carefully.
I'll do my best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Setzer. The next item is a proclamation for the Scottish Heritage Week. I have a proclamation to read. Whereas Franklin, North Carolina is home to the largest number of people per capita of Scottish descent in the nation. Whereas Franklin, North Carolina is home to the only Scottish Tartans Museum in the world. Whereas this heritage has been celebrated on Father's Day weekend for 17 years with the Taste of Scotland and Celtic Festival. Whereas the Scots and peoples of the Cherokee Nation historically cooperated in trade and shared fundamental cultural values, the Taste of Scotland and Celtic Festival will celebrate this rich historical legacy. Now therefore, I, Robert Scott, Mayor of the Town of Franklin, do hereby proclaim June the 15th, 2015 through June the 21st, 2015 as Scottish Heritage Week. And the purpose of this proclamation is to increase public awareness and celebrate our unique Scottish and Cherokee heritage. Do I have a motion to adopt the proclamation as read? Okay. Okay, the second. All in favor? Doug? Here you go. And this is Doug Morton. He is the moving force behind the Scottish Heritage Week. And Doug, we do appreciate all that you do very much.
You're welcome.
I will send this down to be signed by the town clerk, and then he will give you the copy. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you all.
The next item is we have a resolution opposing Senate Bill 650, which is called the Elections Transparency Act. So after I read the resolution, we will take a vote on it. And ladies and gentlemen, what this basically is a move by the North Carolina legislature to change the way that we elect the mayor and the board in municipalities that are nonpartisan. 98% of all municipalities in the state of North Carolina are nonpartisan, and they've been that way for years and years. So this is what we have tonight as a resolution opposing that. And I will read it, and we do have copies for the media. All right, this is whereas North Carolina municipal governments, including the town of Franklin, are focused on addressing the everyday concerns and problems of residents. Whereas North Carolina municipal governments including the town of Franklin, are focused on finding solutions to enhance the quality of life and economic opportunities of residents. Whereas partisan politics play a little role in the operation of North Carolina municipal government, including in the town of Franklin. Whereas hyper-partisan politics in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Washington, D.C. follow from partisan elections and contribute greatly to public mistrust of government. Whereas most North Carolina municipal elections have traditionally been held on a nonpartisan basis, stemming from a belief that local communities are served well when ideological divides and wedge issues are not a part of local governance. Whereas Senate Bill 650, the Elections Transparency Act, seeks to destroy long-standing North Carolina election tradition. Whereas Senate Bill 650, Elections Transparency Act, has the potential to inflame partisan divides at the local level. Whereas Senate Bill 650, Elections Transparency Act, interferes with the town of Franklin's ability to decide its own affairs through self-determination based on the needs of residents. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town of Franklin adopts this resolution in opposition of Senate Bill 650, the Elections Transparency Act. Further be it resolved that copies of this resolution are transmitted to the members of the General Assembly representing the town of Franklin to let them know of our opposition on this issue. Do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution as presented? Second. All in favor? Any opposition? I would like to add, Madam Manager, if we will fax this first thing in the morning to the folks that need to get it, because we need to move real quickly on this. And just for the public's information, this act also would probably make our judges racist partisan, as well as our boards of education that are not right now partisan. Okay, we have a street closing request. Madam Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board. There's an attachment in your agenda packet, and I'll just briefly kind of hit the highlights of just upcoming events that the town's been made aware of that will require a possible street closure for you guys to look at. The first one is the Law Enforcement Memorial Day for May the 15th, and they're requesting to close Iola Street from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then, of course, our Picking on the Square is set to kick off on May the 23rd through October the 17th, which would be every Saturday night. And that request is from 5:30 to 9:30 for Iowa Street. Taste of Scotland and then the Braveheart 5K would fall in with this. They're looking to close on June the 19th, Iowa and Phillips Street from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And that would be until Saturday, June the 20th. And then also on June the 20th, they're requesting to close Main Street from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Mac Arnold concert for July 3rd, requesting for 5:30 to 10 p.m. to close Iowa Street. The July 4th celebration on July the 4th would be from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Iowa Street. The Grace Project, October the 15th, would be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. for Iowa Street. The car show that Mr. Waldrop has, he's requesting it to be October the 17th, which would be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it would be Iowa and Phillips Street. And then Pumpkin Fest, it would be October the 23rd from 5:30 to 6 p.m. for Iowa and Phillips Street. And then again on October the 24th, same thing as we've done in previous years, is to close Main Street from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Veterans Day Parade, on November the 11th, if we could close Iowa Street from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then again, we have 2 nights of Winter Wonderland proposed. First night would be November the 28th, and that would be from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. to close Iowa Street. And then Winter Wonderland again on December the 15th, the same request from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. to close Iowa Street.
Is there a motion to keep the street open any day?
Did we not get a request from the closed for New Year's Eve last year?
Not yet.
No.
And one thing about this, Mayor and Town Board, is at any time in the process, these are just a large list that we have received, and I thought if we could get these, I'll be glad to come back periodically and do more.
Yeah, does anyone have any particular one that they might want to discuss, or is everybody good?
Scott, tell me what happens, we're gonna close it from 5:30 on the 19th until 6 on the 20th. Okay, because it just looked like, you were saying 5:30 to 6, I'm kind of 30 minutes.
No, I know what you're saying, you're correct, Alderman Bashford.
Have we ever closed Main Street for that length of period for Taste of Scotland before? Is this something new?
It is new for Taste of Scotland.
Okay.
Have you ever closed Main Street for Winter Wonderland?
We have not.
No.
The only fear that I believe we may have there is the effect you have of the nighttime and rerouting traffic. I'm a little hesitant there. That's not to say that it couldn't be done.
But we closed off one section of it to allow for carriages, wagons and stuff.
One way, one lane.
It just seems kind of dangerous.
All right. We want to take these as a group?
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept it presented by Town Manager.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposition? All right, we have the request for the water and sewer allocation for Silo Road. Madam Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board, what you have is a request from the Silo Road Development for Indigo. There's a letter in your agenda packet. It states, this is part of my plans to develop Indigo, a proposed 60-unit affordable rental housing complex on Silo Road. I'm writing to request an allocation of water and sewer on this site. Assuming that the standard of 120 gallons per bedroom per day, I calculate that Indigo would need to request an allocation of 15,120 gallons per day. And that would be for sewer and in addition to water. The only thing I would ask the board to consider is we will need an engineer approval on this. So I mean, the board could accept as is if they would just put that condition on that. And anything else the board could think of that they might want to talk about or
I
discuss.
would recommend that we take her recommendation on this. As part of the application process, basically it says on the application that an engineer's letter is attached, and we don't have one on this one. If they're in need of some yea or nay kind of situation, then I'd be glad to give them some type of preliminary approval. But as far as any hard numbers and stuff, I think that we need that engineer's statement of need on this to back up anything that we're part to do.
Okay, good. And if you and Alderman Curtis would work with the town manager on that a little bit as it goes along. Do we need a motion on this?
You
Yes.
could just
Okay.
put those stipulations on it.
Ms. Bashman, would you like to do the motion?
Yes, so moved.
With stipulation.
With the stipulations, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, no opposition. Okay. Madam Manager, you're up again on the capital project ordinance for the town of Franklin water plant upgrade and expansion.
Mr. Mayor and Town Board, what you have, as you are each aware that the town received a $3.5 million loan in regards to upgrade our water plant and expand the water plant. What this project ordinance does is it takes it a step further, and it is the project authorized in the capital improvements, water treatment plant upgrade and expansion to be financed by the use of the loan funds. And then the following amounts have been appropriated for phase one: engineering work, $265,000, and then initial construction would be $3,235,000, which would give us a total of the $3.5 million in which the town received.
Do we need any type of a motion on that, or is that information?
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Okay, all right. Do I hear a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Okay, with it.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposition?
Alderman Henley, were you just a second late? or did you-
I did.
Yes.
She was second.
You were a second late on saying yes.
I'm sorry, I tried to.
Okay.
Sir.
All right, Madam Manager, I believe that you and council are going to speak to the reimbursement resolution for the town of Franklin water plant upgrade and expansion.
Mr. Mayor, this is connected to the same project, the expansion of the water treatment plant that the manager was just telling you about. This is simply, and those of you who have been around local government finance for a while remember these. The point of this is that we have approval for the loan, it's not in place yet. It's going to take some steps to get there in quite a while. And we may have expenditures between now and then. This will let us repay ourselves out of the loan proceeds for related expenses after the fact. So that's the point of that resolution, and I just recommend the approval.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? All right, I'll entertain the motion to approve.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor? No opposition. All right, Madam Manager, I think you got some good news for us here.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board, as you will recall, we started the finance officer search back in January. We have concluded it, and we feel as though we have a very qualified candidate to present to you guys tonight for consideration of appointment. Her name is Kyra Doster. She has been in the government business for over 20 years with experience in local government finance. She received an associate's degree from Southwestern Community College and later graduated summa cum laude from Western Carolina University in 2009 with a business administration degree. She's also a graduate of Swain County High School, and she has worked as an accounting payroll technician for Macon County government from 1995 to 1999, and then as an administrative officer at the Macon County Sheriff's Office. In 2011, she returned to Macon County as an accounting specialist. So it's with great privilege I present to you the candidate of Kyra Doster for the town of Franklin Finance Officer.
Council, I think you have a motion concerning this item.
Yes, so there's a resolution.
A resolution,
I think
okay.
the aldermen have a copy in front of them, which is the formal appointment of Ms. Doster. And when the board is prepared to take action on it, it'll just require adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion prior to this? Anybody got anything to say? Questions? Okay. Pardon? Okay, you ready with the resolution?
Yes, sir, and we've got copies of it here.
You've got copies. I don't seem to have a copy. Thank you. I'm about whereas worn out tonight.
And Mr. Mayor, I don't think anybody needs to have a thorough recitation of it. It's just.
Does that mean I don't have to read it?
It does.
All right. I will ask for a motion to adopt what I just didn't read.
I move that we adopt the resolution.
Okay. Is there a second? All in favor? All right. And may I say, Ms. Oster, we're very proud and we're just glad to have
Stand
you.
up.
Stand up so
Stand up.
everybody sees you.
Stand up.
Oh, yeah. We may want some extra suitable springs here, so welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may add a couple more things to this. Ms. Doster's first day will be May the 18th. And then also, we had adopted a couple months ago, anytime that the manager needed to add someone to the town's checking account, I would like to inform the board that it is my intent to, once Ms. Doster comes on as finance officer, is to add her to the town's accounts, bank accounts.
Any further discussion or questions? All right, we're moving right along. Madam Manager, we have a joint meeting with the Macon County and the town of Highlands. That doesn't mean that we're meeting in a joint.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
May 18th is not a Wednesday.
It's a Monday.
May 18th is correct, that is correct,
Yes.
right?
May 18th is correct, Mr. Mayor and Town Board. I received an email notification. It is Macon County's turn to host the joint meeting this year with the town of Franklin and the town of Highlands. And it will be Monday, May the 18th at 6 p.m. at the Macon County Heritage Center. Cowie.
That's Cowie.
Oh, Cowie,
Is that the
okay.
joint?
Yes, it is. All right, there's no motion or anything needed, that was information only, correct?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Presentation of the proposed fiscal year 2015-2016 Town of Franklin budget. The town manager, Summer Woodward, will present the recommended budget, and I would just like to commend all the town employees who worked so hard and diligently on this budget.
And I would like to thank all the town staff and all the time that they placed into their budget request. And a special thank you to Miss Evelyn Southard for her sticking by me and helping me through this process as
You
well.
stand up there. Thanks, Evelyn. Thank you so much. Okay, so all we really need for on this is a motion just to acknowledge receipt of the proposed fiscal year budget for 2015 and 16. Madam Manager, am I correct on that? We need a motion just to acknowledge receipt. Don't leave out the fourth estate there.
Yes, sir, that's all we need.
All right, motion to that effect.
Motion
That
made.
we received it.
Got it in my hands.
Second? Second. All in favor? Okay. All right, the first item about our budget is we need to set a budget work session for Saturday, May the 16th at 9 o'clock here in the town board meeting, town board, the hall, town hall. Yeah. So I need a motion to set this budget work session for Saturday, May the 16th. Is that date jive with everybody okay before we go to the motion? Is the 16th look okay? 9 o'clock. Fourth estate, y'all all right with that? All right, I'll call for a motion that we hold a work session. May 16th. So a second. Pardon?
I move that we have the work session at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 16th.
Thank you. Is there a second? All in favor? All right, then we also will have a public hearing for the budget, the proposed budget, for Monday, June the 1st at 7:10 p.m. That is the regular scheduled board meeting, and that will be an opportunity if anybody wants to discuss anything about the budget. So does that, well, I guess that needs to suit everybody because that's regular board meeting anyhow. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, on April the 9th, we had a email vote for forwarding, amending the ordinance regarding banners to the town planning board. Counselor, you're going to present this item and how it came about.
Mr. Mayor, I want to start with a couple of mea culpas for the board. I apologize. When we had the discussion about the banner, the suggestions from the banner committee, it did not dawn on me that they were, if we're going to put that into an ordinance, that it really is a land use ordinance, and that requires a public hearing to be announced at the next meeting, and also for it to be forwarded to the planning board first for their thoughts. So that was the purpose of the poll that forwarded it to the planning board. We try to avoid polling at all, if at all possible. Sometimes it's necessary just to keep things moving, and if there's no debate and no discussion, then it's going to go to just another public entity anyway for their open meeting debate, which this did. I don't see much harm in it, but we do try to avoid polling if we can. So that's the first thing I would ask you to do, is to ratify that vote and forward it to the planning board.
And there was no opposition to that, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Okay. So the next item then would be you're going to present something about the banner policy.
So mea culpa number 2.
Okay?
We missed the advertising deadline, and we had to get it into the paper to have that hearing to approve the ordinance on banners tonight. And so, again, I apologize for that. I also am recognizing, and I know, Mr. Mayor, you were very clear in the last meeting, that this is not something that needs to be up for a whole lot more discussion. We need to, there seems to be consensus that we're gonna allow banners in these sort of suggested regulations, so let's have done with it. And in the name of moving on with that, this will be pending, getting this into an ordinance, but I have taken what was proposed language of the ordinance and put it into a policy, so that if you approve the policy tonight, these banners will be permitted under that policy, and that is before you. I understand there are a couple of things that I need your feedback on, that we're going to have to come up at some point anyway, whether it is in the context of the ordinance or this policy. One being, I have put in there liability insurance that, number one, the town does not accept that it has any liability for the process of hanging a banner and anything that might be entailed therewith. That portion of the policy, it's section G, section 2G, also says that the applicant, if they have special events insurance, will get the town a copy of it. Now, there are a couple options there, and you could go all the way to, whoever's having this special event and hanging this banner will get special events coverage for it. And you could say, and we'll make the town, not only give the town a copy of the proof of the certificate of coverage, but also make you a name of, secondary insured, a named insured. We've had a lot of discussion with that, and I don't know if Summer wanted to weigh in on that. We kind of jumped through a lot of hoops about this with the TDA and whether or not you really want an ironclad policy, thou shalt have special events insurance. I don't think it's all that terribly hard to get or expensive, but I don't know whether you feel like you want to say thou shalt get insured.
I have a quick question. The TDA authority, basically the main thing is to try to get people to come into Franklin. What would be, or could the TDA back a group type of policy that would apply to anything, any banners that the town, any events that the town would approve? We're not just going to have somebody come and hang a banner because they have to come. I mean, we have to have a say-so because of public safety.
I think I follow you. If the question is, could the town get coverage for anybody to come hang them? I don't know the answer.
Or the TDA.
Something
I
we
don't
don't
know.
he's talking about.
I don't know.
Town,
No, we're not talking town, we're talking TDA, right?
I'm talking about, I'm just wondering if that would be a proper use of some TDA funds. I don't know what such a policy would cost. I
would
would
have
think
to ask. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that would have to be under discussion at the TDA meeting instead of.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if we could not bring it up before the TDA as a proper use of, I know that back when we had the air show, my lord, that's really fraught with liability.
Yeah.
But it was only, I think, $1,200-$1,400, so.
I'm imagining, Mr. Mayor, that an insurance company would say, without any idea who's doing it, how they're doing it, what they're doing, we're not going to take on a sort of a blind,
Okay.
take a chance on it.
Well, we can talk about it later.
And it is something I think we can look into. And
I'm just thinking of where we might get some funding to help out these events a little bit, is all
I'm
I'm
just
thinking.
thinking that some insurance is gonna have to be there, because if something were to happen to the banner in particular, then I know we're gonna want them to do some indemnifications for the town of Franklin and sign off on some things, but, we all know that sometimes the indemnifications don't carry a lot of weight, and there needs to be something behind those indemnifications. So at least as far as a particular insurance, I think we're gonna have to require some. If not an events insurance policy, at least some type of liability for the banner itself and for the installation and removal and whatever else would transpire for the banner.
The event itself has to have an insurance policy.
I think that
Is
was
that
a
correct?
separate.
did the TDA, I'm trying to remember, did we I think the EPA adopted a policy that if somebody's.
Anything they support.
All events have a name, who's a TDA? Not all events.
Well, I mean,
No, that's true. If somebody's doing one of these banners.
Like he asked, if they already have event insurance, shouldn't the sign be covered under their event insurance?
That's what I would think.
I just really think, I'm pretty adamant to the fact that there needs to be some type of liability insurance involved in that the town is named on, so we have some
Yeah.
level of protection.
Banner falls and goes across the windshield, and they run over and kill someone.
And those, there are cases.
There's cases, and there's already cases that that's happened.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of worried now about what Stephen Hawking said the other day, that civilization we know it's going to be gone for 1,000 years. I've been worried about that too, so. Yeah, we'll hash that out. Is that agreeable with the board that everybody involved just get together and hash this out? Probably on a per event basis. Would that work, you think? What do you think, John?
This being said.
I thought it was better to go through the.
No, I know that. We're talking about insurance right now.
When I'm hearing, the consensus I thought, and I'm not the mayor, but the consensus I was gathering was we ought to have this policy say something along the lines of the applicant shall secure special events insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
shall
sounds
have the
good to me.
name.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Is that?
Yeah,
That's pretty standard board.
Yeah, that's standard.
yeah, that's what I had in mind.
Okay.
But that each event is a separate event, yes. Exactly.
Oh, and it will have to be, I think, once this policy is in place, and especially once it's under where it really belongs, which is in the sign ordinance, and we'll take care of that in June. But once this is in place, then Justin, as the sign administrator, will be able to follow this policy to say, so there won't have to be a whole lot of hashing out. He will have a policy that says, the town board says, get events insurance and get the town covered as a.
Yeah.
That way it's adjusted and we don't have to come back and have a meeting.
That's
Right. Let's just move on with it. Everybody okay?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. All right, that's the last item that.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have a couple other things.
All right. Getting to that.
I think that there was some discussion when the committee brought forward their recommendation. It's about, it's section 2C in what I've drafted here for you, that the way I have drafted it is they may display promotions for nonprofit and community events, which may include fundraising activities and will promote the town of Franklin. And that the names of businesses and corporate entities may be included on banners, but banners shall not be used to promote any particular business or businesses. And that is to the heart of what the sign ordinance is about. The sign ordinance is really about keeping to a reasonable minimum the amount of commercial speech that is out there. And we don't get into regulating a whole lot of other kinds of speech through it.
Well, that's correct. But I think that the whole purpose of banners are special events.
Right.
No politicking, no religion, none of that. It's particular special events that are put on like volunteers with the community of the town. I don't think there was any indication, ever, any indication that any businesses would be on that.
Well, I think that, if businesses sponsor an event, they should be allowed to put their name on there. However, I think we need to, that being said, I think that 80% of what the content should be for events and no more than 20% of that sign be used for a business sponsor. So,
Mr. Curtis, I think you're opening a can of worms on that. I'll just be honest with you. I think just to say no commercial meaning on a banner across the town street. Period.
And then they can always advertise it elsewhere.
That's exactly
You know,
right,
it's
yeah.
in the paper, sponsored by, whatever.
I just think if we
I know what
have,
you're saying.
if we have one business, and I can only think of one event right now that was actually sponsored by a business, But then you've got the Appalachian Trail Days that the businesses are heavily involved in, but they don't want any advertising on the banner. They want the event advertised, and only the event. So I don't know, what do y'all think?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I certainly don't have any objection to that. I mean, I was gonna be a little more lenient on that. So if the mayor would like to do that, I'm all for it.
Hey, I work for this board. Just giving my opinion, which is not worth a whole lot, but,
That's fine.
okay, so where do we stand?
You tell me, I'm trying to gather what the consensus was.
All right, what is the
I
consensus
think
of the
we're
board?
advertising the event only, no
Yes.
sponsors on it.
There you go.
Are you going to strike out then the names of the businesses and corporate entities may be included on special event banners?
Well, they're
If you had a special event that had the town of Franklin's name on it, that
Yeah, the town of Franklin's
Include that.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, we can advertise ourselves anytime we want.
Absolutely.
we're not
Not,
right.
yeah, we're not.
We're non-profit. Boy, isn't that the
It's my
truth?
understanding that there would never be, this wouldn't be used for a single business sponsoring something, but possibly for a group of businesses. So you wouldn't want to have 6 business names on the banner.
No,
Isn't that what Larry said?
yeah,
Isn't that we
that's what he was
agreed?
saying, yeah, he was
Yeah.
kind of like,
That would just be a group of businesses.
But they're profit, they're for profit, so it'd have to be nonprofits.
And so again, the board is telling me what? No corporate names
No names
at all?
Profit.
and insurance.
Nonprofit names.
Nonprofit names, depending on,
Corporate.
No business names.
no business.
For-profit business.
No business for profit names.
If anybody's gonna make anything, it's gonna be the event and not the business, if that's agreeable. Boy, these things get weighty.
Well, you don't want too much stuff on there anyway.
No, that's
You know,
right.
and then people are just driving by, they can't read them all.
The first banner, the banner committee and I want, well, I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna have on it.
This is.
All it's gonna say is banner. Okay, does that put that to rest?
It will if I can get a motion to.
Okay. All right.
With the provision that we require
Okay.
insurance naming the town as additional insured. And
You gonna make the motion?
Voice is.
Okay.
I moved and I seconded.
You second the motion. What is the motion?
Patty did it, Patty did it.
Okay,
So
did
we
you?
add the insurance, we do the
Okay.
other, and he's got
To
it.
approve the policy with the addition that special events insurance will be obtained and no for-profit business names on the banner.
Okay.
This will give them enough time to, if they want to go ahead and put in an application for a banner, we're going to allow that to happen.
Yes.
We're not going to hold anything up because of this.
Right, let's get it. Yeah. Let's
Okay,
get
all
the
in
banners
favor
going.
of Patty's motion?
Wherever she said yes.
All opposed? Thanks, guys. That, unless, John, you got anything else?
I do have
Okay,
one more
I figured as
thing
much,
in addition,
okay.
Is that now, since the ordinance that will regulate banners in the fashion we've just discussed has been thoroughly vetted by you and the planning board, we need a motion to set a public hearing on June 1st, 2015 at 7:15 for consideration of that amendment to the sign ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Well, that's great.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, go around the table real quick. Joyce, you have anything?
I do not have anything tonight.
Darrell?
Those, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Smathman? Earl? Charlie? Okay. All right, I do. Everybody get
Darn, we
comfortable.
almost got out of here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We thought it did.
I am going to take a point to get a couple of things off my chest as we enter the budget session. And so I guess I'll just read this statement, if that's okay. And nobody has to agree with it if you don't want to. But tonight, we began the most unpopular part of town government, presenting the proposed budget. And the first thing that everybody's going to want to know is, what's it going to cost me? This year, I'm not going to sugarcoat what may happen. We face budget problems that stem from a number of reasons. One is that the North Carolina legislature has been downright unfriendly to municipalities. We do not know how much revenues that we have counted on in the past that appear to be being wiped out by the legislature. We believe we will lose some sales tax money that normally would have come back to the town. It was generated in the town. The impact of lowering the gas tax will see us with fewer power bill funds for sidewalks and streets. The legislature still wants to politicize school boards, judgeships, and town elections by requiring them to be partisan. I have publicly fought against this for a number of reasons. It will be more costly to towns as there will be a primary, which is not now the case. It will introduce big money into our elections, and we have all seen what has happened to the tax breaks we thought the state was going to be sending us. Those tax breaks seem to have adversely affected everyone except the well-to-do. That worries me because of the impact to the town's residents and businesses. The friendly relationship that existed between towns and the legislature has turned hostile. We have seen it with annexation issues, taking airports and water systems away from counties and municipalities. The adoption of the town's annual budget is arguably the single most important decision your elected officials will make during this year. The budget provides a financial plan identifying the essential operating costs for the operation of your town. We have had to cut costs to cut out some worthwhile items. We do not want to cut back on the services that we provide to our residents. So I want, and I'm asking everyone to take part in our budget hearings and to attend the budget work sessions. I am available to answer any questions or to point you to someone in the right direction who can give you the right answers. My telephone number is available to anybody. Anything you want to know about this budget, we'll get you an answer. I want the public's input into this budget that our town staff has worked untold hours putting together. And believe you me, you have a very detailed budget this year. You have a budget like has never been presented to this town before. It is exceedingly professional. And I don't think there's any doubt as to where our money's going. There's no just miscellaneous, I don't believe. $1 million miscellaneous. You ain't going to get that. I'll be frank. I may have to ask for a significant tax increase to make up for the shortfall from the Great Recession and the reduced revenues once shared with us at the state and federal level. I hope that it will not be necessary to have a tax increase. But if it is, then I'm willing to call for it. These are strange times. There are also tough times economically. I just hope that the public will understand what we're doing and realize that we will be taking every opportunity to see that we continue to operate efficiently and productively. I cannot, in good conscience, do only what will be popular at a time when some tough decisions have to be made. My job as mayor is to be upfront with you, the public, and that is what I intend to do. I expect to hear from the public about this budget, and that's what my statement is for tonight. All right, anybody else? Okay, I'll stay around if anybody has any questions about where we're going, how we're going to get there. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I mean, motion we adjourn.
Second.
I was going to suggest a motion that you take us all out. Okay. Joyce has a motion to adjourn. I want to thank everybody that's come tonight. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Is there a second to Joyce's motion? All in favor to adjourn? Any opposition? Maddie, are you voting? There you go.
Yeah.